Evangelion, Shinji, and some other crap. And
that's your resume and some other crap.
Pretty much it. Actually, I'm in Saints Row 3 that just came out. Blaze Blue, Continuing Shift, Devil Survivor, Hisaishi, Durarara, Majin, blah blah blah. Google me. And
hi, I'm Caitlin Glass. I don't sound like I normally do because I lost my voice earlier this week, so I apologize. So if you want me to talk like Winry, the answer is no.
If you want to talk like a sexy Winry, though, the answer is yes.
That's a different story entirely. Actually, I can talk like Cammy from Street Fighter. That's all right, fine, I can do that. It's easy on the voice, sir.
You sound more manly than Shinji, so that's cool.
Everyone does.
I know.
Yeah. But hi, I'm really happy to be here. If you know me at all, you know that I love Canada. So I always love to come here, and thanks for coming to our little panel.
What have we met?
Well, I haven't introduced myself, so they don't know who I am. They're just staring at me.
Chris
My name is Pete, and I rule the universe. My name is Sonny Strait. I am the voice of Krillin from Dragon Ball Z.
Shut up!
No, seriously, but only in America. You guys probably don't even know it. You get our version here? Oh, you get both versions. Just like you got both versions of Mountain Dew. You have caffeine and non-caffeinated. That's awesome.
Sperm killing and non-sperm killing.
Yeah, hey, that's great. Okay, so I'm also like the voice of Hughes from Fullmetal Alchemist. Do you guys get that? You get the Fullmetal Alchemist thing here? Beauty. Awesome. Okay, so this is a Q&A?
Yeah, we need some cues.
There's a cue right there.
Use that.
This is for Sonny. I'm just gonna get these two questions out of the way before anybody else.
Sorry,
does.
it's fine. You'll get a question.
Let's just take a nap.
The question number one, and everybody's probably gonna go boo on me, but what were your thoughts on Dragon Ball Evolution?
Boo. All right, sit down. Next question. Sit down. For the love of Pete. Oh, was there a follow-up to?
Yeah. And question number two is, how do you feel about having an own count?
I love that. That's awesome. That's one of the, she's talking about a Dragon Ball Z abridged. That's funny stuff there. I always think though that they don't go far enough. If anything is open to parody, it is Dragon Ball Z. If you heard our outtakes, you would realize that abridged doesn't go far enough. I think that if I was going to do that, the first episode you'd see nothing but bathroom stalls and the legs of the Z fighters underneath, and you would hear like for 10 minutes. And then just flush, 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 flush. And that would be episode 1.
I'll tell Martin with the abridgers.
You should. I think I did mention that to him in Detroit.
Yeah, you're
It'd be a good show. We can't do it. Yeah.
What's the creepiest question someone asked you?
That one.
Yeah, that was very scary. Thank you. What's yours?
Well, mine wasn't really creepy. No, it was creepy. Okay, I remember that one. I had a guy come and stand right next to me at, I forgot what con it was, and he's kind of to the side like this. He's kind of rocking back and forth. It's okay, we see that a lot actually. But this guy just looked at me, he's like, hey man, so did anybody ever tell you that you look like the guy at the end of a movie who gets punched in the face? And I'm like going,
What medication are you on?
he's like, oh, okay. What? I think he's going to throw it out. I'm like, no, you don't.
I got asked by like a 17, 18-year-old girl if she could grope me.
No, that was me.
Asked it? No, we're not. She was the creepiest little thing, and she's like, "Can I grope you?" I said, "Huh?" Like, I didn't even understand, like, because that's not a question I think I've ever been asked in my life. So I thought that I misheard her, and I said, "Excuse me?" And she doesn't repeat herself. Instead, she goes, and I went, no, these are mine. And then the response was, "Oh." Like I hurt her feelings because I wouldn't.
That's very selfish of you.
Well, if you had asked Sonny, I would have said yes.
I will ask.
You're lucky she
Caitlin, share the love.
The creepiest thing I was ever asked was, it was like when we first started doing Dragon Ball Z, and this guy comes up to the table and he's really nervous, and he finally goes, "How do you feel because you guys ruined Dragon Ball Z?" It's like, I feel really guilty about it. But I have a question though. Can I grope you?
Maybe later.
I just have one more question for Spike, just very quickly before I go. How does it feel to work with such a great legend as the Nostalgia Critic on the episode of Ponyo, the Ponyo episode?
Doug?
Yeah, Doug.
Oh, Doug's an awesome cat, man. We had a good time, man.
Do you think you could ever bring him up here to Canada? Like for one of
I
these
have no
conventions?
say over anything in his life.
I'm
So
done.
call him up and ask him to come back.
I'm done. Thank you.
All right, great. Thanks for coming.
Bye.
Who was that masked
Don't
hog?
run, don't run. Walk. There you go.
In the red hat.
Me?
Yeah.
Question for Sonny Strait. This is probably a common question probably asked a lot. But
Okay, don't ask it. Next question.
I'll take this question for Sonny. I'll be speaking for Sonny.
You know the story of what's with Krillin? He doesn't have a nose. You know the story with that, or?
Yeah, it was actually a fight that he got into with a pimp over a hooker. I mean, Krillin paid the asking price, but then they were asking for more, and he refused to give it. And the guy switchblade, and then he had no answers. Next question. No, actually, that's just because he's a chibi character, you know. You know, when chibis, when there's the cuter they get, the smaller the nose gets. So it was just a joke, but then. Toriyama, after a while, realized that that's pretty funny too, so he even incorporated it into the show. He doesn't have a nose at all. He beats Bacterium, I think was the name of the guy. Because Bacterium stinks really bad, and that's how he defeats all his foes. But he couldn't defeat Krillin because he doesn't have a nose. Yeah. Yes. What's your question?
Actually, it's a similar question to his. What's with the 6 stars on his head?
The 6 dots on his head is because he's a Shaolin monk, and all the Shaolin monks have that. Well, a lot of them do. That's there's nothing no more to that.
Guy with red hair over here.
Hi.
Hi. Street Fighter character.
Hadouken. First, I want to say.
I thought it was Heat Miser.
Do you guys remember Heat Miser?
Somewhat.
I'm Mr. Sun. I'm Mr. 101.
So first, I want to say I claim to be the world's biggest Street Fighter fan, and I want to ask you, since you're the voice of Cammy, have you played the game before you did the voice of Cammy?
Yes, I did. I used to play Street Fighter when I was a kid. I really loved, I think it was Street Fighter 2. My mom used to work at Target. Do y'all have Target in Canada?
I have Game Haven.
My mom used to work there, but not down on the floor, like upstairs in the offices. And in the like employee lounge, they had, I guess it was a Super Nintendo or whatever the system was at the time. It was like the coolest. So the one that's normally down in electronics for customers to play, they had one up in the employee lounge. So in the summer, I'd go to work with her and just sit there and play Street Fighter all day. So it was pretty awesome to get to be in the game and to get to be British also, because that's like my favorite thing.
You did a great job at Cammy, and I also want to compliment you for being one of the first voice actresses who actually did a British accent for Cammy. Thank you very much.
Others didn't?
No, they never bothered.
But she's British.
I know it's weird.
Wow, okay.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. I had to be British or they wouldn't have cast me in the role. That was a requirement. So what it said by the book British Fighter. That was on the audition, like be British or you don't get the part.
So the programmers finally figured that out too.
Yeah.
Maybe she should have a British accent.
Well, the Japanese actually did the choosing, which I think is bizarre. Like, how would they know? But they kind of listen. But they listen for like the energy and the voice, and can you bring it to life? I don't mean it in a rude way. No, it's just like
all English people sound the same.
I can't tell what a Kansai accent is. I'm not Japanese, you know.
English.
So they just knew that all of us who that they were listening to in English, we did have British accents, and they would decide who like sounded the strongest or sounded like the English speaking equivalent of their Cammy, and I I got it over real British people. Yeah.
You did the Brits proud.
Sonny, what spot is We Shadows at?
What spot is We Shadow? You guys, if you've not read my manga, you can go to WeShadows.com, and it's the manga that was published at Tokyo Pop, and I got the rights back recently, so I've put it online. I think we're on page 56 now. Oh, the rank. I'm number 10 in the top 10 webcomics.
Vote daily.
Yes, so please go to WeShadows.com and click on the voting link and vote me up and keep me there, because it is the best advertising you can have, is to be in the top 10.
Yay!
It's a great manga too, so it's worth reading. But if you want to just vote and not read, that's fine. Do I owe you $50 for that question? What was it? What were you
I was going to ask about Evangelion. You know, it was really a big hit when it came out in Japan. Did you know about it before accepting roles, and what?
I'm in the new stuff, so I can't really.
No, I did it a long time ago. It was the TV series. It was.
What made you also decide? I mean, was it just a, you know?
They asked, I said yes. We don't say no, almost ever. I don't think we do at all. No. Would you like to yes? But what about yes? Is there a check involved? Yes.
There's really.
That's the name of my group.
Sadly, in my case, I believe that I am a whore when it comes to voice acting. I did a part one time. I was just walking in the hallways, and one of the directors said, "Hey, come in here. I got a part for you." And it was a character who was buying soiled panties from the soiled panty store. I didn't know that existed, but I did it. And then he gets raped in an alley. And you know
what show was this?
I don't know.
Like Speed Grab?
It was Speed Grab. Right?
Okay.
I don't know, but I walked out. The really scary thing was I didn't bother me. I just walked out and went, okay, another day, another dollar. Bought some soiled panties and got ass raped. Whatever. Whatever.
Or as we call it, Saturday.
To answer your question from my perspective, I was still a fan when Ava was coming out in English. So it was one of the first anime that I really got into. And I never thought that I would get to be a part of it because it was done at a different studio. It was down at ABV in Houston, and I live in Dallas. And at the time, you didn't work in both places. The first person to do so, I believe, was either Vic or Monica, who started coming up. And anyway, so I thought, oh, I'll never get to do that. And then things happened with ABV, and Gainax sold, or licensed rather, the reboot movies to Funimation. And we tried as best we could to keep as many important characters as possible, like Spike and Allison Summerall and like the main characters. But other folks that we couldn't get for whatever reason, various reasons, they recast, so I got the opportunity to play Ibuki, and that's really awesome. It's one of those like full circle kind of things. When I went in, I'm like, I'm recording on Evangelion. Oh my gosh! Like, it's pretty awesome. It's a really cool piece of anime history, that show.
Hell yeah.
Yes.
Hi. Do you like rainbows?
Double rainbows.
And unicorns. And cupcakes. And sailors.
And ponies.
Butterflies.
Where are they selling this? I love that package.
And bubble bags. Anyway, go right ahead.
You just derailed him. He had this great question, probably the best question of the day.
What was each of your favorite characters?
Sonny Strait.
Characters we worked with or
Spike Spencer.
worked on?
Worked on? Sonny Strait.
You promised you wouldn't tell. Well, it's out now.
Sailor Moon.
Yeah, there was a Sailor Moon all night long.
That's my favorite show. Stop.
So ruining Caitlin's childhood.
Sonny, tell us, what is it?
I'm torn between Krillin and Hughes. Spike?
Dude.
Spike, your favorite character to
Favorite
do?
characters so much right about now is between Arachne from Blaze Blue and Papillon from Buso Rankin. They're both completely whacked out, and I like both of them. It's just craziness.
Timbits are my favorite character. This is what a Timbits make. I love Krillin. Why don't you eat me? Okay, Timbits, I'm
Okay, again. What is your favorite character?
That's my first video game, Pac-Man.
Hey, buddy. Don't come again, buddy. Don't come again, buddy. Hey, friend, don't come again, buddy. Hey, what's your favorite character? Come on.
Hobbies from Orem High School.
Yeah.
I love her. I hate her. She's my favorite.
I'm now full of tidbits.
Yes.
Yeah.
You guys do all your recording by yourselves. Is there any particular time you wish you could have another actor in the room with you?
No.
Sometimes.
I don't think so. No.
I like to record after everyone else has recorded.
Yeah.
It's great being the last one because you have something to play off of. But that booth gets kind of crowded.
Although when doing hentai.
Do you always do it with your pants down?
Always.
Me too.
Wow.
It's in my contract, actually.
Hands free.
No, I don't really. It's nice recording by yourself. It's strange because it's such a complex thing you have to do with all the timing and stuff like that, and you really just have to stay focused. And some things you have to go to some dark places and difficult places, and not that you can't do that with another actor. I mean, we do that if we're ever on stage, we do that, but it's a really vulnerable job being an actor, and sometimes it feels safe just to be in that little booth by yourself.
Sometimes I wish there wasn't even a window, you know,
Yeah,
so that you could just make all the funny expressions. Because unlike when you're on stage and you're playing a more believable human being, I mean, sometimes we have to go to extremes, and so to get that voice to be extreme, you have to be extreme with your face and your body, and sometimes you feel like a fool when they're looking at you laughing.
Especially if you got McFarlane or Sabat looking at you.
Yeah.
They're probably taking pictures.
No.
Look at the method actor.
Me?
Yeah.
In terms of Fullmetal Alchemist, did you have any outtakes that you really, really loved? In term, like, were there outtakes from Hughes that just made you crack up?
Well, his lines would crack me up. I don't like. "Don't fall on Daddy" was a pretty funny line. Yeah, and I love doing characters that have that kind of range, you know, from badass to goofy, you know.
Yeah.
But I can't remember any outtakes. Of course, that was a while back too.
Okay.
I had a lot of outtakes because I was not in the film.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything I did was no.
I will say that Hughes was probably the most typecast role I've ever had. There was a line that we had to do with the auditions, and it was, "Sorry, but I have a wife and daughter to go home to." And when Colleen Linkenberry was handling the auditions, after I finished, she said, "Hey, we're going to go out for drinks afterwards. You want to come?" And I said, "Sorry, but I have a wife and daughter to go home to." And she told me later, she said, "You know what? That's why I cast you. I realized in that moment you are Hughes."
And Caitlin Gloss, same for you.
Unfortunately, I don't really recall too many outtakes. I'm not the funniest outtake maker. I'm really not. I'm honestly not. Sadly, I wish that I were, so I could entertain all of you right now. But
all her outtakes are just profanity anyway.
Yeah. Maybe that's what it is. A lot of my favorite ones, though, ended up being on Oron, and all of those, the good ones, you can hear.
Awesome.
So, I'll pick. How about this guy in the back with the glasses? Yes.
Okay, well, so you sort of already answered this one with working on Eva, but what is a role you got that you absolutely wanted to get? That you went into the audience saying, "I want this, I need this."
Krillin, Hughes, Usopp. You guys don't get Cartoon Network, but the host of Cartoon Network was Toonami Tom, and I really wanted that one. And Apachai from Kinesis.
I love that!
Oh, and also Drossel and Black Butler. I really wanted that one too.
guy is awesome.
As soon as I get Scooby-Doo, yeah, we're on. Right.
I'll fight you for that one.
Apart from Ava, because I never thought, again, that it'd be something I could be in, and I didn't even audition. I was offered the role, like, hey, we need someone to play Maya. Can you do it? Okay. Probably Haruki, I really wanted. Now I'm the director, so you probably went, well, you just gave it to yourself. But I didn't. The producer had to say that it was okay. Other than that, Hannah in Black Butler 2, which hasn't come out yet, comes out soon, very soon. This month or next month or something.
April 3rd or something?
Yeah, next month. Oh, I really wanted it so bad. I moved to Spain when they were doing the first season of Black Butler, and I was so upset that I couldn't be a part of it because, like, I love accents, and I just wanted to speak in any dialect and let them record it. And I happened to be home this time last year, and they said, "Do you want to audition for season 2?" Because we knew that I'd be moving home sometime in the few months following. So I auditioned, but I didn't know if they were going to pick me or not because I still didn't live back in the States yet. And they did choose me, and I recorded the majority of it while I was home a year ago, and I was ecstatic. And I can't wait to hear it. I'm very, very excited. Yay. Right here.
You were in Spain when you did the new Fullmetal, right?
Not all of it, just parts of it.
Did you, when you recorded that, when you were in Spain, did you have like a home studio set up? Or?
I recorded probably about half of the show before I left, because we were already in production before anybody knew that we were. And then when I moved, I knew that I would be coming back periodically for conventions and things. So the convention would fly me out, usually to Texas, and I would work for a few days, and then I'd go do the con, and then I'd go back home to Spain. So that's how that worked out.
Way back there.
Speaking of that question, actually, how did you feel when you got and you saw what had happened to Winry and Ed in the Fullmetal?
Oh, I don't want to spoil for anybody who hasn't seen the end, because I'm sure there are some. But I loved performing that scene. That's all I can say. I loved it. I loved how everything turned out. And you know, there's an end that people want to see. And I can say this without spoiling anything. A lot of people want to see Ed and Winry together, but there are many ways that could have happened or could have been handled. And I think that the way that it was handled was just right. Just right.
Me? All right. I've got 2 questions.
I got it.
You can't have the tidbits.
He's gonna throw him at him though.
I have 1 question for the FMA actors and 1 for all 3.
Okay.
For the FMA actors, who do you think would win in a sparkle off? Armstrong or Edward Cullen?
Armstrong!
Get out of here.
I'm going to say Armstrong.
I win!
Yeah, because Armstrong can make sparkles and he doesn't have to be in the sunlight. You just sparkle at any time. I know I'm a fan of these people.
Alright, now for the second question.
Who do you think would sparkle in? No.
No. What, like, say, like, you guys know the Kingdom Hearts games?
Yeah.
Okay, well, do you know crossovers then?
You know.
Yeah, we know.
Okay. You're losing us. What animes would you, what are the 2 animes you would love to see crossed over together? Like a special episode, like, for the 2 of them.
Dragon Ball Z, One Piece.
Yeah.
I know, I want to see it though. I don't want to do it.
Yeah. Well, you know that like Toei has toys out that crosses over. Those are really cool.
Those are cool.
To celebrate like the anniversary, I think, of the company.
Yeah, I have the Going Merry with the dragon twirled in between the masks.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I agree. I agree. I think that those 2 shows are almost made to have a crossover. Like the next story arc should be them going to wherever.
I'd also like to see Lupin the Third.
Dragon Ball
and Dragon Ball Z.
Lupin and Dragon Ball.
Just so Krillin would be the wimpiest guy.
Didn't they do Lupin and Case Closed?
Yep.
I mean, Detective Conan.
And I wonder why we haven't picked that up.
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah, we have done both.
Totally do it.
There's 12 other movies you're gonna get through first.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, my.
I think for me it would be Evangelion and Nadesco. So that Akito and Shinji look at each other and go, wait a second.
Are they both
freaky? Well, Nadesco is like the anti, like Akito is the anti-Shinji.
Oh, okay.
And we did it like right after.
Oh,
So
okay.
there were certain lines in there where one of them, for example, Akito says, dig me, I'm running away! And it was a complete, I mustn't run away, I mustn't run away. He's like, I'm running away!
I'd like to see Popeye and Bugs Bunny cross.
What's up, Doc? Oh, it's a whitey rabbit.
Yes, sir. Wabbits.
All three of you have had this happen.
How do you know?
You don't know this.
You don't know us.
Doctor.
To do a character and to have them be finished with the show, and then to come back to that character later on and have it be like a reinvention or a reimagining of what's happening with that character. How does that feel to you, like when you come back and it's a familiar situation, but then things are changing individually? How does that affect you?
Great question.
For me, I love it when that happens. I mean, just a chance to revisit this character that you thought you'd finished, but you love doing. Even the first time I got to redo Hughes, he was a Nazi, but it was still kind of cool. It's like, it's still Hughes, right? And then I said goodbye to him, and then he came back again, and I said goodbye to him, he came back in an OVA. I've stopped saying goodbye to that character, really.
It's awesome. It's Christmas.
Yeah, it is.
It's like you open up a check, and hey, I got a check I wasn't expecting. It's awesome. I get to play a character and be silly again. It's great. Absolutely great.
I really love it. It's, I guess, only happened with Winry. And like Sonny, I have to stop saying goodbye to her because every time I think it was goodbye and I get all emotional about it, and a year later, like, oh, we found this OVA we'd like you to do. Okay. But I said this to Mike McFarland, and it's actually recorded on, I don't know what it's going to come out on, either a Brotherhood DVD or the new FMA movie when it's on DVD, something that we've done recently. They have these long interviews, like 10 to 20 minutes, with various voice actors as a commentary over the film. And Winry, she's the biggest character that I've ever played, and I got the role when I was brand new in voice acting. So to be able to keep revisiting her throughout my career is really it's a blessing. I don't think many people in our line of work have that, because we're not the voice of Bugs Bunny. We're not, who that's what they do. They're known for that, and that's their thing. It's usually we get to play a character for 13 to 26 episodes, 50 or 100 plus if we're lucky. But normally, even a 26 episode show we're done with it in 3 months and that's it. And I've got to play Winry for 8 years. And that's awesome. She's my friend. I like her.
You're right, that is a rarity. I mean, I did the same thing with Krillin. It's still, I can't name more than 5 shows that would do that, right?
I've watched Shinji grow from... No, I haven't. Not really.
2 quick questions. What is the favorite line that you've ever recorded, and what was the most hard thing the worst thing that you just kept having to do over and over again in recording that just frustrated you to follow?
My favorite line I said earlier is "Don't fall on Daddy." Might be the favorite thing I've ever said. Usopp is, I love doing Usopp. But Usopp screams every freaking line. And it's funny, but it hurts. And when he gets into a screaming jag, sometimes I'm just like, oh, please, why can't this character die? But I love doing Usopp. When I first started out, though, when he first appears, he doesn't scream quite as much. I mean, he has that weird voice, but he talks on this level, right? But as the show progresses, for some reason, he just stays on this level. He's just having, I don't even know how he has a casual conversation anymore. Or more. If it's not that, it's just screaming bloody murder.
That's the hard stuff right there, the screams. The last Evangelion at the end, I screamed I almost passed out on the last one, because it was just ridiculous. The lines, I have a sheet printed out of crazy lines that I love.
I should do that.
Yeah, and I read them in my panel sometimes, but one of them was, the meatballs are here, but nothing comes before love. What does that mean?
You know what that
means. Besides bruise her uterus, not much. I said that in an anime. I kid you not. But my favorite one, no, that's LA.
For real?
Bangzoo.
Okay.
Oh yeah. My favorite though is Papillon. When he comes up, he's like, I know, I'll kill everyone who doesn't recognize me. That'll be fun. And I guess one more is, my balls smell sort of vinegary. Puny poetry.
Oh, makes perfect sense.
It's hard. The reason I'm saying I need to make that list is because we get put on the spot so often, and it's really difficult to remember one line because we say it maybe once or twice if we're lucky. If it's a difficult line, then we'll have to say it like 10 times to get it right. So that's why we don't remember. But a new favorite is from a show that I can't tell you that I'm in, but I love it so much just because of, like, as an actor, it was a wonderful thing to get to say. You asked earlier, do we wish that we could record with another actor in the booth? In this case, I couldn't, but the other actor had already recorded, and it just got me, and it was a truly organic experience as an actor. I heard the line, I felt everything that I should feel, and I was so overwhelmed. Like afterwards, we kind of had to stop recording for a minute because it was loved it. So when that show comes out, you may figure out what the line is. Otherwise, I really liked a lot of the things I got to say in Oron. A lot of those lines are just pure gold. And once, when I was in Negima, I played many characters, and there's this character named Chisame who's very cynical and she hates everybody in her class. And she's on a train and she's like doing this inner monologue about why all of the people she knows are complete morons. And as she thinks of them, an image of them comes up. And so she's going, this group of people, then this group of people, then this group of people. And the last person to come up is the other character that I play that happens to be a robot with a British accent. And Chisame blurts out, and what's with the robot? Like, and that's a silly line, but I love robots personally, and I also play that robot. So to me, it's a thing. I like that line. Anyway.
Actually, you know, one of the hardest things that you guys have noticed is that the little takes.
Yeah.
Oh, can we do it again? That's not right. No, it's all right. 32 times later. Just put something in there.
A little less breath.
Can I have a line reading? Can you,
That's what I always do. You do it. You do it. Let's hear how you do it. Okay.
Okay.
You got it.
Yes, sir.
For Sonny, are you currently recording any One Piece episodes? Or
Yeah, I can say that. Yes.
Yeah. Do you know how far? Can you say?
I can't say that.
All right.
Hey,
But yes, we are recording it.
What's on your hoodie, your shirt? What is that? You with the Adidas? What is that? No, your red sweater. What is that?
Toronto FC.
Oh.
What?
I live in Dallas.
Oh, Dallas. Boo.
No. They have a game today. Does FC have a game today too?
For Krillin, best fight you had, and who was that against?
Let's see, the best fight I ever had. Probably with 18, and it was over my hair, and I lost.
Aren't you dating 18?
What?
Aren't you dating 18?
Married to 18, actually.
Yeah.
With a kid, and that's pretty remarkable because she's basically a sophisticated blow-up doll.
What makes her
With working
sophisticated?
parts, apparently.
Really working parts that create babies.
Right.
Anime.
Good morning.
Really, I just stopped calling her Android 18, just call her 18 because really the Android just doesn't look like it. She's so human-like.
Animes for children. Yes. Sonny.
Yeah, what's your question, eh? I forgot my cowboy hat.
Hold on.
Hang on.
All right.
What's your question?
What do you got?
How did it feel to work with, what's his name, Shin or Scott? Shin? How did it feel to work with Goku?
Oh, Sean Schimmel.
Yeah, Sean, his name, yeah. How did it feel to work with them?
You know what's weird is that we really don't get to work with anyone but the directors. Because it's just us in the booth and them. But it's cool to play off of these people, though. And I've had the opportunity in 14 years to play off some remarkable talent. And it's always a joy to go to work because of that. But really, we don't get to work with them except at conventions. You know, I didn't even meet Vic until after we had finished the first FMA. You know, I met him at a convention. Yeah.
Never met him, so I moved to LA.
Oh, no way! You lived in Houston and worked together for years.
Never met him.
Yeah.
Blonde hair with the hat.
So it's more or less a rare occasion for at least a couple characters to work together when voicing something?
Extremely rare, yeah. I mean, when I first started playing Lupin, Chris Sabat directed the first movie. And he had me and the girl playing Fujiko to come in together. We did some lines together just so we could get a chemistry going because I said that relationship was so important. But we didn't keep any of those takes, you know. It was just and that's a rarity that happens too.
Who was that, Meredith?
Meredith McCoy, sorry. Yeah.
Tell him I'll call him right back.
But yeah, we don't really.
Do you guys have any?
How many recording devices do you have? Camera,
Stop asking the
now
boring
you're on an
questions.
iPad.
You can never get
You're
a
recording
question
this
out
with a
before we
small
start harassing
stereo.
I'm
you.
expecting a video camera and a MIDI and
This whole big
a
thing here.
So, trend on Twitter.
A potato!
A potato gun.
Smile for the potato. Say spuds. Sorry, what was your question?
Dateline Toronto.
He's already forgotten. Move on.
What's any of your favorite hobbies for three of you?
Oh.
My favorite hobbies for Sonny are... Oh.
My favorite hobbies for Sonny.
He loves origami and sewing.
That's actually...
And square dancing.
It's cadence.
Dressing like a little girl.
That's me.
Now let's answer the main question.
Okay. Most of my hobbies became jobs, so I don't really have
How many
them.
more hobbies?
I like to... I have a band, and that's a hobby because it doesn't pay very much.
The Dragon Ball Z video games?
I've played it, one of the games once. I think it was the first Budokai game, and it was kind of cool hearing myself in a video game and moving myself around and stuff, but...
Stop hitting yourself. Stop hitting yourself.
Instead of 18 and sort of turn into Krillin cell?
Yes, that was the one, I believe. Yeah, and he became weaker because he absorbed Krillin.
Yeah,
That's insulting. That really is. That's really insulting.
Abith? Well, I cook. I love to eat and cook. I love photography. I just love to take pictures and travel the world, have fun, do stupid things. I'm a big fan of drinking red wine, and I also sail, sailboats. I sail out of Marina Del Rey. I've sailed out of Sydney Harbor and Maui. Yeah.
I have a lot of relatives who sail there.
Cool. It's a lot of fun. So yeah, I do all that stuff and curl up in a ball and cry a lot in Hollywood. It's what actors do. Caitlin?
It's funny that you guys said origami before, because origami is one of my hobbies.
I actually like origami too.
Yeah. What else? I don't have a terrible lot of free time, so when I do, I just like to spend time with my husband, my dog. I have a really awesome dog named Torito. He's a French bulldog. And what else?
You like Timbits?
I like Timbits. I like football, aka soccer. And when you live in Spain, you have to like football. So my husband watches every single soccer game ever that is recorded that he can see, and I'll maybe watch like 1 or 2 a week with him. Definitely any Real Madrid game. And now that MLS is starting up this weekend, we'll be watching even more. So we go to football games, and I do stuff at my church. That's it. I plan lessons because I teach ESL, so I don't have a lot of free time. English is a second language, and I also teach theater, so that's why I don't have a lot of free time.
It's a hard language.
It's very hard language.
When you go to the football, do you like start the riots and stuff?
No. I think that football in America, here, not in Europe, needs to stay more family friendly than it is over there.
Yeah.
Favorite football team?
Yeah. Favorite football?
Favorite
Real Madrid.
Barcelona.
Boo! Can I curse in Spanish?
Right.
Barça is what I say.
Fight.
Real Madrid.
Way back there at the hat.
For all you guys, what would you say your highlight for your voice acting career?
I think we're all waiting for it.
Okay, so far.
So far.
Well, one time I was in Florida and I was walking by a swimming pool and some girl said, "Oh, it's Maze Hughes." And I said hi and she flashed me. That was kind of cool. And it was really funny because there was a guy who was a friend of hers sitting in the water next to her and he was like this. And I said, "You've never seen this side of her before, have you?"
You've probably never seen those before, ever.
No. And I said, "Son, you owe me." So that was fun.
I'm assuming that you don't mean like what role do I consider? Do you mean what role is the highlight of my career or what moment?
Just like anything like you've done, like voice acting, what would you say like your highlight?
I think that I was telling Sonny this story last night, that after this happened, I felt like if I never do anything else in the world of voice acting, it's okay. And a few years ago, I got to meet Kotono Mitsuishi, who's the Japanese voice of Sailor Moon. And
oh wow!
Oh my God! I love her. But I didn't just get to like say hello. I spent a weekend with her, essentially, at a convention. And she's a lovely woman, and I met her husband and her daughter. And I mentioned before that I like origami. And at this convention, I was teaching an origami workshop, and I wasn't prepared. So I was up in the green room folding. Thank you. Thank you. I was up in the green room preparing, and I just sat down. I had my box of paper, and I'm folding. And Mitsuishi-san is across the table, and she sees me, and she goes, "Origami!" And she runs off to her room, and she comes back with her own origami paper. She sits down next to me, and we fold. And yeah, so I'm like, and I'm trying to do this thing perfectly, and like shaking. And she folded me a little. She basically told me in broken English she couldn't remember a lot from memory what to fold, so she made me a little ninja star. And it sits inside my origami box, and every time I open it to fold, there's Mitsuishi-san's little present to me. So yeah, and that really is kind of a full circle moment because Sailor Moon is like my gateway anime show. It can only be more full circle if I got to play Sailor Moon, but you know, which is my dream, by the way.
We'll see what we can do.
Yeah.
One of the things that is really awesome is the fact that we get to come to cons like this and we get to hang out with the other guests, the celebrity guests. And you can do that all over the world. We've done it in Australia, New Zealand, London, etc. And there's really nothing cooler than having somebody who you've been watching on TV for years, and now to consider them family. I have friends like that that are, that I've been watching forever, and now I stay at their house and they're friends now because we're able to do that. And it's absolutely amazing. And one real quick thing was, I'm a bit of a sci-fi geek. That's my geek out. And one of my friends is a Vulcan, and I go over, he's teaching me guitar and stuff, we go have dinner and everything, and they're like, "Oh yeah, Tim's out there too," and they're playing guitar and everything. I'm like, "Oh, okay, I don't know who Tim is." And Tim walks in, it's Tim Russ, the other Vulcan. And I'm like, so I'm out there, I don't play guitar worth of crap, so I got the bongos or the triangle or the freaking cowbell, whatever I got, and they're playing one Vulcan on drums, is Gary Graham, is a friend of mine, and Tim Russ is on bass. I'm like, there's a Vulcan on drums, there's a Vulcan on bass, and I'm playing a bongo. This is a good day, people. I think that is a moment that just I never forgot. I just love that moment.
Yeah, those are great moments. That is one of the perks of this job. I remember when I was in Australia, at one point I was playing pool with Dr. Beverly Crusher and Neville from Harry Potter.
Nice.
And at one time, oh yeah. Oh, that's right. I just posted that recently. Yeah. Oh, and at one time, I'm a huge comic book fan, and I met one of my idols, Wendy Pini, who created a series called ElfQuest, and it turned out she was a fan of Dragon Ball Z, and we hit it off like immediately. And the next thing I knew, I ended up drawing 2 58-page ElfQuest stories for her. So that was a really good highlight. I mean, a little better than the boob flashing, actually.
Yeah, but
right.
Oh yeah,
that's where she lives.
That's not true. I don't know, I'm not bothered. Right here.
Can you sing on behalf of the moon? They'll punish you.
No.
I'll do it on behalf of the moon.
Only because it'll end up on the internet and I sound wretched. So. I'm never going to get the role now. They're going to give it to you.
On behalf of the moon, I punish you. On behalf of the moon, I punish you. Sorry.
Right here.
What's your thoughts on Time Skip Usopp?
The what?
Time Skip Usopp.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Yeah. I don't want to give any spoilers, but yeah, Usopp becomes a badass.
Yeah. Okay.
That's all
Good
you need
enough
to
for
know.
me.
That's all you need to know.
I love his face.
That's who he's based on, actually. Yeah, that's the Japanese pronunciation of Aesop.
I'll pick. I picked the last two.
Oh boy. Go ahead. Does anyone have a question?
Come here, Jonas Brothers.
How about you in the back? Come on. What's your question? No, not yet. Sit down. No, sit down. Do the do-si-do and turn yourself around.
Dragon Ball Evolution, the movie.
Yes.
This character wasn't in it.
Yeah, that was stupid, wasn't it?
Very stupid. You're a main character, dude. Right beside Goku. So.
You know, I think that was one of those cases where they said, hey, there's this really popular show called Dragon Ball Z. Let's make a movie about it, but not really watch it or read the manga or anything. Let's just make a movie. I know there's a character called Goku. Let's put him in high school. You know, why not?
Don't worry, it was nominated for worst movie. You know what? I'm very retarded. Your character was not in it. Seriously. I totally disagree with that problem.
I disagree with even trying to make that movie.
It's terrible!
Me?
Yes.
Okay. Sonny, I saw what you did on YouTube with Sean.
Oh. Nothing.
That was beautiful.
Can I grope you?
That was completely unlicensed and not allowed legally to be done. So it's no longer up there, right?
What?
It's no longer up there, right?
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
But what you did there had some real cojones to do that.
Oh, thank you.
I'll talk to you later about it. It was awesome. Oh yes, and by the way, I like to talk to Spike. What is your favorite Italian wine?
I'm not crazy about Italian wines, really. Chiantis are okay, but most of the Italian and French stuff is too earthy for me, so I'm really a fan of Argentinian and Chilean Malbecs,
I love Argentinian wine.
Merlots, and I love California, Napa Valley. So
okay.
I just go there and just go, oh. I start spinning. Yeah.
I think though with California wines, though, they have to be a little old to be good. I mean,
yeah,
like
I mean, there's
6
a lot
years.
of, yeah.
But they are good.
The stuff is really actually quite good. It really is. So I kind of get a little bit, kind of free stuff, not too dry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, thank you.
I just like to ask this question every time I go to a convention. Are there any voices that are in your head that you wanted to use but have not had a character or given the opportunity to use?
Dozens, probably.
Yeah.
Yes, dozens at least. Yeah, and they're constantly screaming at us.
All 3 of my dogs have voices that I haven't used on any animation that I use when I'm talking for them. I think I'm usually right too. I think that's what they're thinking.
I think that's probably true. At least for me, I don't even realize if I'm making little voices. Like my dog has a voice, or a voice that I use when I talk to my dog. And I've thought sometimes like that would be really funny in a cartoon, but we're limited in anime because of the flaps, And I was telling this guy I was sitting on the airplane with that there are really only occasional characters that get to be very extreme in the actual sound of their voice, because the world of anime is already so fantastic and requires you to suspend your disbelief so much that what the character sounds like has to be very real and something you can relate to, or you won't relate to the characters at all. So there are characters like Usopp and Luffy who are like, oh my gosh, that's really crazy. But most of the time, anime voice actors have to be good actors with just solid voices and the ability to sound younger and older, and maybe use a dialect. But it's not the same as like Saturday morning cartoons. So I bet a lot of the voices in our heads could only come to life in Relay, probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Relay stuff.
I'm fortunate. I get to play a lot of psychos, so I get to play this crazy out there characters. So it's fun. It's funny when you're. I don't know if you guys do this, but I'm driving along, you know, and I'm just talking to myself, and something comes out like this. It's, oh, this is like a voice. What is that? And somebody's looking at me, like, oh. They're like, oh, he must be an actor. Yeah, everybody is.
And those moments, I wish I had recorded it too. It's like, oh, I can't remember how that went. You know.
I do that all the time on my cell phone. Throw something out there. Yeah.
Or you finally perfect an accent that you couldn't before, and you're like, oh, how did I do that?
Yeah.
Right here in the black shirt.
Any news on when we'll get the Evangelion movie?
I have no idea. Nobody consults me about crap. But somebody told me it was released.
In Japan.
Was it? Released in Japan?
In the fall.
In the fall.
It was probably 2015.
Wow.
2015. No, it won't take that long.
License take 2 years and all that.
They came out with the first two Ava movies pretty quickly.
Whenever they bring it out,
They
baby,
came out
I am
with it.
there.
Yeah.
And Shinji will be in the house, yo. Maybe the other one will drop. Yes.
We have time for like one question.
The brown sweater.
All right.
He hasn't asked one.
But you haven't asked one yet.
You haven't asked one. Go ahead.
Just to stay on the Ava, do you fear that the budget may run out on the last day of the movie?
Do I fear that the budget may run out on the last day? But he's referencing the alternate Ava ending where Shinji goes on a rant for about a minute and a half about the end of the series. And no, I think they got money this time. So I think they're okay.
Yeah,
we'll see what
they would
happens.
have undertaken the project had they not had the funds.
Yeah, exactly. So any of you who have not seen the alternate Ava ending, just go to YouTube and do alternate Ava ending, and Shinji goes on a rant. It's quite fun. I just had him turn the mic on and just ranted. One more? Just shot?
Quick question?
No other plans today.
What?
What would Shinji's pickup lines be if, say, he did grow up hair? And asked, what would his pickup lines be for the Ava girls?
Definitely masturbate to you.
You want to see the size of my neck?
And on that note, thank you guys so much.